You know, I always feel welcome at Miami-Dade College. The party now in the White House is planning a no-suspense primary for a no-change election, to hold on to power, to slog on with the same agenda under another name.
Everything's more expensive. Everything comes out of your pocket and my pocket. So it's that. But I think in terms of the recession, of course you feel it when you're president of the United States.
The best way to defeat this enemy in the long run is to deny them the recruiting tools that are and recruitments made possible by resentment.
I think that Bush is a nice man. I call him, he's a man that doesn't want to be doing what he's doing. To be honest, I call him the reluctant warrior, and warrior is probably not a good word.
And you and I know that America deserves better.
Did we fight the wrong war? And I have no doubt. The war came to our shores. Remember that. We had a foreign policy that basically said, let's hope calm works. And we were attacked.
But those weren't Iraqis.
No, they weren't.
The question for me is, what am I going to do about it? And I've decided I'm a candidate for President of the United States of America.
Is Jeb Bush conservative enough to be president?
He couldn't answer a simple question on Iraq. Is Iraq good or bad? The war.
Right.
We spend $2 trillion, thousands of lives lost, wounded warriors all over the place who I love and who I help. And we have nothing. And you asked that question, it took him 4 days to say an answer.
Governor Romney, I am an undecided voter because I'm disappointed with the lack of progress I've seen in the last 4 years. However, I do attribute much of America's economic and international problems to the failings and missteps of the Bush administration. Since both you and President Bush are Republicans, I fear a return to the policies of those years should you win this election. What is the biggest difference between you and George W. Bush?
Thank you, and I appreciate that question. President Bush and I are different people. 2, trade. I'll crack down on China. President Bush didn't. Number 3, I'm going to get us to a balanced budget. President Bush didn't. President Obama was right. He said that was outrageous to have deficits as high as $500 billion under the Bush years. He was right.
If we could just get this economy growing at full strength. There's not a reason in the world why we cannot grow at a rate of 4% a year. And that will be my goal as president.
Initial assaults. By the end of 2006, more than 3,000 American soldiers had been killed and another 20,000 wounded. Hundreds of thousands of Iraqis had died in the conflict, and the costs of the war, which were promised to be no more than $60 billion, had ballooned to $200 billion.
The folks who say you should have asked for some sort of sacrifice from all of us after 9/11, do they have a case looking back on it?
Americans are sacrificing. I mean, we pay a lot of taxes. Americans sacrificed when when the economy went into tank. Americans sacrificed when, air travel was disrupted.
We need a president willing to challenge and disrupt the whole culture in our nation's capital. And I will be that president.
An impressive crowd, the haves and the have-mores. Some people call you the elite. I call you my base.
We don't need another president who merely holds the top spot among the pampered elites of Washington.
We use people that are friendly with the lobbyists. And it's a big problem. For instance, I read where Jeb Bush raised over $100 million. Now, if you think that those people giving him all that money aren't getting a lot, you're wrong. Because a guy like Bush, a guy like Walker, all of these people are controlled by the people that give them their money. It's true.
From the beginning, our president and his foreign policy team have been so eager to be the history makers that they failed to be the peacemakers.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war. These are opening stages of what will be a broad and concerted campaign.
Okay, yeah, he's marked. That's his mark right there.
The Obama-Clinton-Kerry team is leaving a legacy of crises uncontained, violence unopposed, enemies unnamed, friends undefended, and alliances unraveling.
Well, President Bush declared the end of major combat operations in Iraq, but troops soon found themselves trying to manage an increasingly organized insurgency that featured attacks and bombings. And by 2006, American intelligence analysts concluded that Iraq had become a haven for Islamist terrorists, which it hadn't been before the invasion.
I said, don't hit Iraq because you're going to totally destabilize the Middle East. Iran is going to take over the Middle East. Iran and somebody else will get the oil.
The stakes for America's future are about as great as they come. Our prosperity and our security are in the balance.
That there be a stable Iran. Iran that is capable of rejecting Iranian influence. I mean, Iraq. That House Republicans last fall passed strong earmark reform ideas. Put forth earmark reform ideas. Last night, Jeb and I had some crabs. Look like members of the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Dan Marino and his really dynamic wife. TV stars, Andy Garcia.
Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3. You get a car. 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 Everybody gets
1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, tell people why I say. I mean, I think they're causing.
Our country's on a very bad course, and the question is, what are we going to do about it?